Hello, welcome to the first lecture of Industrial Safety Engineering. In today's 35 to 40 minutes of lecture, I will introduce this subject Industrial Safety Engineering. So, the content is we will see some of the major industrial accidents, what has already happened, then safety and health issues, stakeholders, accident causation model and knowledge base. Most of the information related to the figure, to the past accidents, to the models are taken from publicly available internet sources and some taken from standard literature. So, in the first lecture, I want to give you what is this subject, why this is important and what is the relevance of this subject to industry, to the academia, and finally, what will be the basic requirements to know for to go about or to learn these subjects, as well as finally, some sketchy blueprint that what is in total industrial safety engineering. And in subsequent lectures, you will see that more focused concepts and their elaboration will be made, and then we will go to different techniques, tools and so forth. So, the syllabus is with you. So, you please go through the syllabus as well as follow all the lectures whatever we will give you, as well as the I can say the assignments, and also use the discussion forum platform, and I hope that you will enjoy this industrial safety engineering subject to the level expected, and definitely your knowledge on industrial safety engineering in particular and in general in safety engineering will be enriched with this hope. I am starting this lecture. First, I want to show you a case which is Piper Alpha case that we have taken a video and which is available. So, the video you first see. So, you see that what is the disaster situation in Piper Alpha case. A mistake, small mistakes may be initiated somewhere, and finally, it lead to such a catastrophic accident and a huge explosion and then fire, and finally 168 people died. So, this is a breakthrough incident, I can say, because of this incident lot of other development has taken place, and I request all of you just to go through the Piper Alpha case and the reports available, and then understand why this accident has taken place and whether safety engineering as such was applied in totally or not. So, I am keeping it open to all of you. So, after the that incident happened and the inquiry everything has taken place, then you know that Sir Brian Appleton, what he has commented on this. Safety is not an intellectual exercise to keep us in work. It is a matter of life and death. Please keep in mind, matter of life and death. So, if in your lifetime or if in our lifetime we can save one life, this is enormous. So, that means everybody of us should be triggered to do something so that the life of the people at work in particular or life of people in general, the society can be saved. So, it is not an easy task, as Sir Brian Appleton says, it is the sum of our contributions, to safety management that determines whether the people we work with live or die. So, we want to seek the answer to this question, that whether the people we work with live or die, what system you are giving them to work, or under what system we are exposed to work. So, that is whether this is designed in following the safety engineering principle or not. So, that is what is the totality of this subject. By saying this, I am not saying that we will be dissecting the Piper Alpha case and will be showing you that what are the different failures and what way that safety engineering principles are not applied in detail, but definitely we will not only this, some other previous accidents we will also try to discuss, but this Piper Alpha case is open to all of you. It is your work, you can consider that is the prerequisite, that you get the report, it is available, read it and make the mindset that okay, how safety engineering, whatever knowledge you will gain in this particular subject can be used, or where the gaps were there. Okay. It is not the that Piper Alpha is the only case. So, you will find out there are many such accidents that has happened. You all know that Union Carbide India Limited Bhopal, the case of 3rd December 1984. 3rd December 1984. What happened? What was the event? Event was leakage of water into MIC tank caused increase in temperature and pressure of MIC and release of 40,000 kg of MIC. And what is the loss? Immediate loss is 2,500 people died immediately, 8,000 more due to diseases and 500,000 injuries, and in fact, even today the effect is there. So, can safety engineering help you to understand why such accident has taken place, and when you redesign that or design a new system of similar nature, so what are the things you have to do? Okay. So, if we go further, you see that what actually happened in union carbide case. Here you see that this is MIC storage tank, methyl isocyanate, 40 tons in E610, then 15 tons in E619 and 6111, 6111, 619. E619 was empty, okay. 40 ton, 15 ton in here, 40 ton here, and this one empty. Water leaked into this, and causing runaway heat producing reaction. Then you see that there are so many protection measures, refrigeration system, Freon system to cool liquid MIC was shut down. The design was that this may happen under such situation, that Freon system that will be used, and to cool liquid MIC was shut down in June 1984 to save money, and Freon shipped to other plants. Another one, you see, water curtain not high enough to reach the gas. Flare tower designed to burn off gas, but a connecting pipe had been removed for maintenance. So, few things, maintenance. Here it is basically that is the cost or the benefits, business things. Here what happened, there is a water curtain which basically used, but what happened, it was not that high, the design problem. Then vent gas scrubber, leaking gas could have been detoxified, but the scrubber was turned off. This is the SOP problem. So, that means when we talk about such accident, and these are all high risk plants, and in all high risk plants what happened, the design will be such that there will be different layer of protection. So, layer of protection like this and this. So, as a safety engineer, if you look into this, then you will find out that there will be normal control system, which require for the day to day operation. Then there will be emergency safety system, which if something gone wrong, then how the system will behave, so that system can be restored to the normal. Then there will be on-site, off-site countermeasures. Even after that also, when accident has taken place, then the consequence to be reduced, and there will be a physical containment for hazards, and basically that separating the hazard from the people or the target. Okay. Here it was there, but having those things does not mean that it is the full safety engineering. It is the design point of view, those things must be there. What else require? Like the emergency control system, countermeasures, all those things are basically, if I say that under high risk operation, these are all risk control measures, that risk control measures must be operational also. They must work. Now, if I see here refrigeration system is working, but it is not, it is dedicated for this, but it has been bypassed to some other plant. So, what happened? It is not the design problem, it is the problem with the maintaining the system, protection system given to you. Similarly, here see flower tower, this is also, it was there, the control system, emergency control system was there, but what happened, because of poor maintenance, that connecting pipe that was not working. This was a design problem, because the height that gas can reach, that was not understood. So, that means the height is not sufficient enough. And here you see vent gas scrubber, that this is also another protection, so that the gas whatever will come out, that if can be detoxified at the release point, what will happen? It will not affect the environment as a whole, and the people at society will not be affected. So, that not be affected that much, they will be affected, but it was basically turned off. So, that means one thing is that you must have a proper design, you understand that what are the hazards that can take place, and the hazard ultimately lead to accident. So, you have to identify the hazards, and then hazards lead to accident, hazard lead to accident, and accordingly that there will be layer of protections, layer of protections. So, all those things during design you have to understand, and definitely these are there, but even under very good design system also this will happen if the maintenance, monitoring, control, all those things are not done properly. So, all those things will come together under safety engineering. One is design, then if you go by the system life cycle, then design, build, operation, maintenance, disposal, all those things will be there. At every time you will find out that there will be number of hazards, and for every hazard there is protection measures, and those protection system must work, and that is what also to be. One is you design into the system, you see that they are working. So, all those things are coming under safety engineering. So, very quickly now we will see some of the other issues, but from the report there are reports available in net. Now, a few of them just like I have written here that storing MIC in large tanks and filling beyond recommended level, beyond design level, design recommendation you are filling up. So, this is not permitted, but it is done. Failure of safety system, as I told you, the normal control, then emergency safety system, on-site offsite countermeasures, like why this detoxified that vent scrubber was there, because if the gas is detoxified at the release point, then the effect of impact of gas will be reduced, that is offsite countermeasures, but that was not working because these are all coming because of the maintenance, control, poor, all those things. This is a poor maintenance. To save money, safety system have been switched off. I do not have any answer to this. Lack of skilled labor, competency, and inadequate emergency action plans. So, there are many more, but okay, these are the few which are basically which needs to be talked about. So, that means one hand here what happened, the design problem, one hand the and on the other hand what happened, the maintenance and operation problem, and all those things come joining together ultimately leads to such disastrous accidents. Another one, Chernobyl nuclear power, that you know. I will very quickly I will say. Actually, this is in 26th April 1986 during test of safety feature called emergency core cooling. You require to have the domain knowledge to understand all those things. So, for to me basically this is what I am giving you the different example and with some information, but this is a nuclear power plant case. So, your knowledge about emergency core cooling and although how the nuclear power plant work, that also required, but okay, for here we are basically setting the tone that why this subject is so much important. So, emergency core cooling, catastrophic power increase leading to explosions in its core, in turn release radioactive particles, and you know the 31 died immediately and this much died due to cancer between 1986 to this 2004. You see what is the problem? Operator's error, lack of knowledge. I told you that knowledge, domain knowledge is very important. Lack of knowledge about nuclear reactor physics and engineering. This nuclear reactor physics and engineering is a part of that particular subject domain. It is not the part of part of everybody. In industrial safety engineering, we will not be learning that what is nuclear reactor physics. Rather, what we will be learning here that how do you make it sure that the safety engineering is in proper place. So, someone who is knowledgeable in nuclear reactor case, he will be in the team, so that the safety engineering is in proper perspective. Violation of SOP, lack of safety culture. So, in previous example we have seen that there are design problem, there are maintenance problem, there are competency problem. Here what we are finding out, again we are finding out competency problem and SOP violation, another one is a safety culture. It is a huge thing, but okay, we will not be talking about safety culture in industrial safety engineering. Chemical plant Flixborough, England in 1974, rupture of temporary bypass pipe leading to release of 40 tons of cyclohexane, 28 people died and 38 got serious injuries. Poor design of high pressure pipe system by inexperienced engineers. This cannot be tolerated. When you are designing such high risk plant and you know that the people at work and the society as large may be exposed to such thing, so you cannot design poorly, because if you design poorly, that you will carry forward the entire life cycle of the system unless otherwise it is detected and redesigned. But when you are designing such a high technology system, so redesign it will not solve the purpose. Simultaneous shutting down of critical systems, I can say it is basically a problem with that safe operating procedure, that what it should not be done we are doing. Presence of water in reactors, so more of your design and operation problem here. So, the list is endless. Now, you can see that I told you that Flixborough, England, Bhopal 1984, that leakage of MIC gas, Indiana, USA 1988, improper mixing of chemicals, Texas 1989, explosion of fire. So, like this. So, there are many more in chemical industry. If you see manufacturing industry, New York City, USA in 1901, a fire flared up at a garment factory, 148 died and 41 injured. In 1988, Piper Alpha oil platform USA, an explosion fire occurred. Then 1993, Kedar toy factory Thailand fire, 2007 that split of Montel metal steel from ladle, and you will see that the fire industry in recent times also, I think in some hospital fire and in some building fire, so many things are there, but there are many more fire accidents that have already taken place. Here under manufacturing industry, we have enlisted some of them. This is one typical picture. I want to show you that how much unsafe it is. There are moving parts, okay. There are projected ends. There are so many things, but these are basically bare, open. So and entirely you see the machine is such a clumsy. There is not proper housekeeping. Some dress here. So see this housekeeping is not proper. The machine is not properly guarded. So machine safety is also important. This is basically working in a very hot and humid environment. You must see that there are places in industries, particularly in large industries, particularly in high risk industries, you will find out such things. For example, this you will get in steel plants. So when you design, a safety engineer must know that someone will be working here. So what should be the protective measures, what should be the mitigating measures that should be there. So he or she must know that, or the team must know that what kind of hazards are available here. already sourced, whether those hazards are sourced by design or by technology, or it is basically unwanted coming from out of something else. Here more of health issues are also there. Then mining industry. Mining industry, the number of that huge accident, the catastrophic accidents are large also. Few of them you see that in China, gas and coal dust explosion, how many people died? 1549 workers died. But if you go down that even in 2001 23 September, Jim Walter Resources number 5 mine, 13 miners died because of a roof fall accident and followed by methane explosion. So, this the end is the list is again huge. So, if we go on listing down the mining accident, even in particularly India also, that list is also very large. What happened to this mine disaster case? There, because of maybe poor support design or poor method of work, roof movement beyond the design level leads to roof fall at 5:17 p.m. Then there are ignition sources, scoop battery damaged, then methane, because of roof fall methane also exposed. Now, methane is the source, what I can say, the combustible material, and there is scoop battery damage, from there the ignition source, and you know that ventilation is there. So, these two combined, fast explosion taken place. Now, after fast explosion what happened? Ventilation damaged and airflow disrupted. So, methane accumulated here, and in the meantime coal dust accumulated, then block lights kept energized, ignition source remained there. So, coal dust, methane, some everything coming together with ignition source, a huge explosion, second explosion had taken place, and the mine could not be evacuated, and as a result what happened? 13 miners killed. Okay. So, this is now, is it not a safety engineering problem? It is a purely safety engineering problem. Roof movement, roof strata movement, rock mechanics issue, so design of that support system. Now, the scoop battery that will get damaged, but it should be fail safe. Methane liberated, explosion taken place, ventilation system got damaged. So, if you have eliminated this part, nothing would have happened, or eliminated this part, this might have not happened. Okay, or eliminated this part, some control somewhere missing, that is why the accident has taken place. Started from hazard to accident, roof movement, coal dust accumulation, these are all hazards. So, ultimately because from hazard with influence of some other intermediate events finally lead to accident. Safety engineer must know that how from this hazard to accident, that what is the path. Those things in the next few class, in the concepts, I will be telling you what are those things. Now, big issue is material handling. So, material handling more of health issues, as well as that health issue also lead to safety issues. So, we cannot ignore material handling. There are mechanized material handling, that manual material handling, okay, but whatever may be the case, that safety issues are very prevalent in material handling. Construction, working at height, you see at different heights people are working, it is a huge of gravitational energy. So, people may fall. So, how safety engineering will help you here? Is it possible that the safety engineering concept ultimately give you some design solutions, some engineering solutions? It is obvious, it is there, and you have to find out how to apply it. This is possible if you know, if you have hazard knowledge, if you have design knowledge, if you have previous experiences, and if you have the total safety engineering concept, the blueprint, you can apply step by step, and finally, you will be able to avoid many accidents, not only in the construction, in all industrial situations. So, with those example, now I want to make it clear that what is the differences between health and safety issues. See, it is basically you have to think from the time of impact, and severity of impact is there. If the time of impact is long term, it is health issues. If immediate or short term, it is usually safety issues. There is overlap between health and safety. Okay. So, a worker exposed to maybe a material handling job with prolonged awkward posture, suffering from musculoskeletal disorder will come under health issues. But the same worker, when working doing material handling, hit by object or something fall on him, that immediate, this is safety issues. So, safety and health issues, maybe one is maybe caused to the other, but they basically be in for people at work, they belong side by side. So, there is also certain amount of overlap. So, we in the subjects what we are discussing, it is on industrial safety engineering, not health, but many of the concepts can be applied in case of health also. But we will not dictate anything related to health, maybe some example comes somewhere, but primarily our work is safety issues. Who are responsible to time of effect, short term, medium term, long term? Who are the bodies or the stakeholders? Regulatory, economic, organizational, operational, technical, research, education, everybody. So, a design engineer who has designed the facility, the product, the machine, the process, he is equally responsible for failure, for safety problem. The operational maintenance people responsible, organizational management responsible. There are different regulatory bodies, they are also responsible in the sense they also should contribute. They are contributing in terms of accident investigation, safety inspection, regulators, economic insurance, manager, complex technician, operators, worker, engineering, system design. But from safety engineering point of view, I can tell you that our major concern is the design part, and we believe that if I start from this side, suppose this is my design, then your build, then your operation, then maintenance, then disposal, it is a life cycle. Here everything you must understand, that what are the different types of hazards that are exposed to exposed by the workers. So, and education research, I am not sure how much we are triggered to this, because even today BTech courses do not have this industrial engineering subject or as such safety engineering subject, except for a specific branches like environment, like health, that safety is equally important, and I think there should be basic course for all the engineers as at least. Now, I will take 5 minutes of time just to explain you that whatever I have told so far, that different accident has taken place and lot of examples we have seen, but there can be model which will help you in explaining what is happening. So, in the subsequent time you will also discussed in different ways, maybe some of the things what is here or in another place, but grossly that the Peterson model is a very good model, it talks about that accident is a, as per Peterson model, human error and system failure are responsible. Now, when you talk about system failure is human error, but human error is not human behavior, that is what we are saying. Human error is a more technical than human behavior, which is more social or behavioral. So, now why human commit error? There will be decision to error or maybe trapped to commit that error or overload condition. And then why decision error? There are different reasons. What do we mean trap? Workstation design, incompatible display of controls. So, it is basically the system design point of view is coming. Now, capacity with load in a state, basically because what now it is not the physical capacity, it is the mental capacity which is basically coming into consideration. This is one kind of model, but safety engineers will be more interested for this, also. Okay. So, why system fails? What are the reasons of that failure? What are the system breakdown structure? What are the components, subsystem, all those things? Their interplay between the different components. What was the design problem? What was the maintenance problem? Where the problem lies? What will be the safety engineering blueprint? How many hazards are there? How those hazards will ultimately converted to accident? What are the paths from the hazard to accident? So, all those things ultimately you have to determine, and at that you require to determine at the design stage. At the during design you must anticipate all those things and put prevention, mitigation, all those things. In subsequent class you will see that what I mean to say about the prevention, mitigation, hazard accident path and all those things. So, okay, suppose you want to know that what will be the your knowledge base. How do I know that? Yes, I know safety engineering. The knowledge base is very systematic also. First one is system concept. The system you are designing, here I am using the word system, it may be a product, it may be process, a combination of product, process, many things, system concept. So, that means the knowledge about the system. What do you mean by knowledge about the system? Means the design knowledge. The system is designed to serve a particular specific purpose, particular period of time maybe. So, for the entire life cycle of the system, the design knowledge you must have. You know that how the different components function, what are the designed intended function, and what are the different parameters, what are the different failure modes, so many things, all design knowledge. Design knowledge is very important. That is basically system. The system concept you have to use to know that whether the system you are designing you have full understanding of this or not. Okay. And that system engineering details, that is the very important. Engineering system details. If it is a chemical reactor, you must know that what is PNID for this, piping and instrumentation diagram. Then through this diagram you will understand that each of the element component at this diagram, what is this engineering total. It is the I. If you do not have the system knowledge, the engineering details of the system, you are not fit for safety engineering for that context. Okay. So, this is the first thing. So, you must know how to represent a system, and you must know what are the engineering details of the system. I am by engineering details, system detail, I am not saying that material design also you have to know, not as such, but the required system engineering knowledge is an important one. Then what happened? The first step is hazard identification. There can be multiple hazards. Then once you identify hazard, then and then risk assessment. So, this is my priority 1. Then you must know this, you must know this, you must have concept of this, you must have the concept of human errors, and ultimately what happened, this hazard identification, human error, risk assessment, safety by design, this will basically leading to prevention through design, PTD, prevention through design. And what you require, your from knowledge point of view, technical techniques based, the system concept important, there are different management tools that is required, there are performance assessment, these are required, these all help you in actually doing industrial safety engineering. And data analysis, I will say now safety analytics. It's a data driven one also. So you must have a system knowledge, engineering details, you must understand how to identify hazards, what are way human can compute create error. There will be another one, that software error, then all those things finally lead to risk assessment. After risk assessment, you will quantify, you will basically what happen, you will identify what are the areas where improvement is needed. Then you must know what is safety by design, and then these management tools, performance assessment tools, data safety analytics tools, all will be used in between to get the better result. I hope that this makes sense to you, and ultimately this is not the entirety of the knowledge base. It is a multidimensional interdisciplinary case. So, many more things will be needed in between, but this is what is in nutshell the basic requirement for a safety engineer. Okay. I hope that subsequent lectures you also enjoy equally. Thank you for joining this particular online course, and hope for the best. Thank you very much.